Epping. Archie.
Hiya, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. I just wanted to deconstruct a couple points you made earlier on the show. I'm quite a young lad myself. I'm only sort of 19. And although Trump as a person, as you say, is despicable, I do think it's potentially starting a movement over here in the UK, hence the Gov poll results being 25%. And I think a lot of young people my age are starting to want change. And I think you banded illegal immigration and general immigration into the same kind of bucket earlier on. And I think that's wrong. I think to have a problem with immigration is not Reform's aim or not anyone with my aim. It's illegal immigration and undocumented immigration that's the problem.
It's so small, though. It's not really even a problem. A million people came in with the correct papers, a million a year.
Yeah.
It's about 30,000 by boat. You're really concentrating on the 30,000, not the million? I don't believe you.
Yeah, I mean, look, as I say, immigration's not a huge problem, and I get it's a common talking point, but I also don't think it's Reform's only point of entry. I think some of the movements Trump has, especially around gender identity and kind of, I think we've gone too far. I hate to use the word woke because it kind of melts my argument a bit, but saying there's two genders in this day and age is not controversial, and I genuinely think people have had enough of corporate companies and businesses getting away with media tripe and pushing for something no one really agrees in.
Corporate companies, you think that you think that the media is against Trump?
No. I think everyone is kind of going along with the point that we have limitless identity and limitless sort of gender roles and all this kind of stuff. And
right, but that's also, I mean, that's even less important a point to most people's everyday life than illegal immigration.
Sure, but it's still a valid point to raise, you know, and I think it highlights a bigger picture.
But how has that impacted you, though, Archie?
Well, I just think it shows the direction of this country. It hasn't impacted me directly.
Right, so why did you bring that up second, then? Well,
because it's a secondary point, but I think within sports or, you know, swimming, Leah Thomas, for example, in America completely dominates female sports, and I believe that's completely unfair.
Well, I don't know who that is, but it is interesting that you bring the two things, really, that most people would associate with reform, neither of which really are the kind of things that would change people's lives in this country. It's just such small beer. It's picking up something that will needle people and saying, vote for me and I will solve this problem. But they're not really problems. If you want to be, if you're concerned about immigration, then be concerned about legal immigration, because it's such a lot more people. And I just don't buy.
Why would I have a problem with legal immigration?
I don't buy it. People have a problem with immigration when they see a lot of foreigners up their way, or they're concerned that a lot of foreigners will come round their way. They do not think, gosh, I wonder if that person has the correct papers. I don't believe that. It's not a difference between legal and illegal. It's just, do I appreciate the presence of foreigners? And mostly it's people who don't have foreigners around them. I mean, if you look at the list of places where Reform did, or the Brexit Party did well, or people voted for Brexit, it's where there are hardly any foreigners. I mean, Clacton is about 98.9% white.
Yeah. But, you know, I've had it start. I live in Sheffield, and that's a very affluent part of the country as well. But I think, as I say, the problem more is that crimes as well. You have illegal immigrants. Where I live with my family in Essex, there's a hotel which I won't name, but it has fully stocked with illegal immigrants, and regularly the local Tesco's is shoplifted from, and it doesn't make environments and communities very nice, and there's nothing we can do about it because they're completely undocumented.
Yeah, people aren't staying in hotels if they're illegal immigrants unless they're being processed for asylum.
But they're not being processed because the Home Office backlog is too long.
Right, okay, well then complain to the Conservative Party.
Or that's not the Home Office in power.
Okay, all right. Well, they're doing their best to clean up the catastrophic mess, this smouldering ruin of a country that the Tories have left them to deal with over 14 years of misrule. I don't think it's particularly fair at this moment to blame a party that's trying to put it back together again. It's much more difficult to put something back together than to smash it up, as you know.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. So
but then, using the America example, you've got someone like Elon Musk and his branch of government being the Department of Government Efficiency. In all truth, I think it's what this country needs. Look at Elon Musk to go into a company like Twitter, now X, reduce its staff base by about 80%, massively increase its efficiency. You've got a lot of civil servants in this country that
he didn't increase its efficiency. He just decreased its ability to function as it used to do. How did he increase its efficiency?
Well, it's still on the same kind of upload that it is with 20% of the staff. It just shows that
that's completely untrue. There used to be, all of those staff that he fired used to be regulators of content in a lot of cases. And there is no regulator of content on Twitter anymore. And you compare it as it is now to how it used to be, and it's just a right-wing bot fest on Twitter. If you can gut staff from an organisation, and the organisation can still exist, but you cannot say that it's the gutting of the staff that has made it more efficient, because you are not comparing two things that are the same.
But financially it's more efficient.
Well, not really, because it's not making any money.
Well, but it's reduced its outcost, and it is, of course, it's making money. It's the third largest social media platform in the world.
How much money did it make last year?
I couldn't.
You've got absolutely no idea. No, it's not making any money at all. Twitter makes no money.
It's made no stock increase, but it's still early doors in it. I'm saying, let's irrelevant around financials. We need efficiency in our government. We need to reduce the number of staff, get people in that are actually going to, do some work.
That sounds great. That sounds abysmal, absolutely incredible that is happening, and that you're supporting that. That rather suggests to me the 19-year-olds going through people's social security, going through people's pensions, going through. We have absolutely no idea what they're doing in there. They could be helping them. They could be helping themselves to.
A 45-year-old has the right to do that more?
No, of course not.
So what's your point? Is it?
Well, you brought up their age, Archie.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying they're efficient, they're modern, they're people that have a high technical experience.
No, you're not saying that they're efficient and they're modern. Modern has got nothing to do with it. You're saying that they're efficient, but efficient means that they're doing the same job for either less money or less time. But they're not doing any kind of job that has ever been done before.
Yeah, because it needs to be done.
Why?
Because you've got a state of government that, like in the UK with the Home Office, we can't process things. You've got the American government, I'm sure, with a similar kind of problem.
They can process things that the previous Conservative administration chose not to, in order to create a problem that they could then point at and say, well, vote for us and we'll solve that problem.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have to agree to disagree, but it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Archie. This idea that you can just go into an organisation and sack a lot of people, and because the organisation still exists, then it has become more efficient, it's laughable. Because the organisation does not exist anymore in the way that it used to. You could go into a hospital and sack half of the doctors. Now, the hospital would still be there, and there'd still be people being treated, but you wouldn't really call it more efficient, would you? I could go into where you work and just sack a random 50% of the workforce. And the company might still exist, but you wouldn't call it more efficient, necessarily. You could ask people to work twice as hard for the same amount of money, and if you're on the outside, that might appeal. Hang on. And if you're on the outside, that might appeal, but not to the people that are working there. This sort of, I am not completely satisfied with my life, so let's burn everything down attitude is really worrying. It just demonstrates to me a lack of experience in the world and a complete lack of empathy, apart from anything else. Where's your humanity, apart from anything else? What they're doing in America is blindingly obvious, because they've tried it already. They wrote it down in a book, for crying out loud. They want to take trillions of dollars, and this, I'm not making it up, because Trump did this the first time he was in office. He added trillions of dollars to the national debt to give the rich a tax cut. And that's what they're doing again. In the name of efficiency. Well, you know, if you believe that, I've got a bridge I'd like to sell you. I've got a Trump crypto coin I'd like you to be interested in buying. Thameside. Hello, Matt.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
The figures you're quoting about everyone being appalled by Doge don't seem accurate to me at all.
Oh, dear. Based on what? Your feelings?
I have no feelings either way. I'm British.
You have no feelings?
About Doge. Obviously, I have feelings.
But you called in to tell me that you don't believe the statistics that I've just explained at length.
Well, there are other statistics out there. You don't own all statistics, do you?
Oh, there are other numbers?
And one?
Yes. There are, yeah. Maybe one's in America.
There's two.
6 million.
6 million, yeah, there's three numbers right there. Yeah. So what are your numbers? What are your alternative facts?
They're not alternative facts. American facts. Yours are just strategically selected to suit your argument facts, aren't they?
No, they're two different polls conducted in America by respected pollsters. Where are your facts from?
Similar polls
what are
in America.
What are the companies that have conducted these similar polls? I'm keen to find out.
One was Rasmussen.
Rasmussen, yes. Where was that?
Yes,
where
yes.
was that published?
About 2 days ago.
Where was that published?
It's an American polling company, a highly respected American polling company.
And they said what?
50-odd% of people are happy with Doge.
That's not a very accurate statistic. 50-odd%. It sounds as though you're making it up.
No, I just don't remember 52 or 53 or something like that. It was literally 2 days ago. I only remember it sort of vaguely because, plus the fact, you're missing the fact. There are positives about Doge as well.
Ah, okay, go ahead. What are the
There's
positives?
There's the potential to give $5,000 to American citizens.
$5,000 to... Right, if I gave you... if we cancelled the NHS... and I distributed the money that we would have spent on the NHS in cheques to the people of this country, giving them, I don't know, like $1,000 each or something of that order, then would that be a good benefit for having got rid of the NHS, or would you prefer the NHS and you could give up the cheque?
Is he cancelling every single government agency and department? I don't think he is he?
Which ones are being spared?
None. We'll find
exactly.
out, won't we?
None of them.
We're not even started on.
I know. We're not even started
on the majority of them.
Yeah, we're not even started. I'm just looking at Rasmussen right now. 37% strongly approve of the job that Trump is doing. 38% strongly disapprove. That's more people disapprove than approve by your own pollster.
No, that's disapproval and approval ratings. That's not Doge related, is it? That's just general.
I thought that you called in to tell me that you thought that Donald Trump was more popular than I just explained that he was.
No, I said Doge was more popular than you explained it was. I didn't mention the general popularity of Donald Trump.
Right, well, I didn't mention Doge. I was talking about Elon Musk.
You were talking. Who's the person who's created Doge? Who's the person who talked about Doge, invented the concept of Doge?
That's like saying. Do you approve of America, and conflating that with do you approve of Donald Trump? Some people approve of what Doge is doing, and Doge seems to be a bunch of teenagers who have absolutely no clue as to what it is they're doing, just barging into where other people work and firing them willy-nilly, as evidenced by the absolute near catastrophe of firing those people whose responsibility it is to keep the nuclear weapons in America safe. And you can't poll both Elon Musk and Doge as though they are the exact same thing, because one is a person and another is an entity.
Elon Musk's concept And the very reason he's in...
Actually, no, it's Donald Trump's concept. Elon Musk is working for him, unless you're suggesting that Elon Musk is actually running the American government. I mean, some people would agree with you there. But what is your point, though, Matt? I mean, you called in for an argument. Presumably you spend all day long on social media, up to your eyeballs in Russian disinformation, never hearing a contrary word, and you throw your toys out of the pram when you hear somebody say something you don't agree on the radio. I knew I'd get this because social media is absolutely full of it. People with 3 followers and an official blue tick all over Twitter. People like that. No, what he's doing is really great. Where's your evidence for that? Oh, I just feel it. It's a feeling. Yeah, okay. All right, Matt. Go ahead with your feelings. Hackney. Hello, John.
Hello, Mr. Abbott. Thank
yes,
you.
John. Thank you.
I would just like to say...
John, please speak directly into the phone. Hello?
Okay, I am now.
Ah, there you are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't expect to be... my call to come through, but thank you.
Now I'm not expecting it to come through.
Well, what I would like to say is I admire Mr. Elon Musk very much.
Oh, what, physically or mentally?
No, as a person.
Oh, as a person. What makes you so attracted to him as a person?
Well, if I can tell you why. Did you know that he is on the autistic spectrum?
I didn't.
And, he is. And he was bullied at school.
That's why you...
No, these are his... This is where he came from, you see.
Mm-hmm. South Africa. South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa, yeah.
Yes.
And he achieved so much. He's achieved so much. What he's done for mankind...
made a lot of money. What he's done for mankind.
Well, I'm not jealous of him for that.
What he's done for mankind? What has he done for mankind?
Space exploration.
No, we've been there. There's nothing in those outer space bars. No atmosphere.
Oh, come on, Nick.
Space exploration. He has not explored space. He's just encircled the globe with satellites and then charged people through the nose to use them.
He has enhanced the knowledge that we already have.
In what way?
With the space exploration, there's stuff learned.
What has he found up there? Well, like what?
I'm sure there's loads. But
no, wait a minute. You just said that you... No, you can't. Unless we get past this. You said that you admire him as a person because of the space exploration and the things that he has discovered. Yes?
No, the things that he's trying to do for mankind.
No, that's not what he's doing nothing for mankind and humanity. Everything he's doing is in order to make himself more money and gain more power. It seems to be an obsession. Seems to be an obsession with billionaires. They've got more money than they could spend in 1,000 lifetimes, and all they're obsessed with is making more of it. Weird.
His legacy is going to be pure.
What does that mean?
But you haven't even heard
Hang on a minute.
Reason why I like him.
Because nothing you've said so far makes any sense. You say that you appreciate him as a person because of the space exploration. Well,
and where he come from a tough beginning like this.
I don't think he came from a tough beginning.
And but my main reason
what was the nature of his tough beginning?
Can I tell you the reason why I like him so much?
I thought you'd been doing that already.
Because how stalwart he is being by Tommy Robinson.
Right, and there we go.
You hear me?
Got there in the end. Okay, thanks a lot, John. Bristol, hello, Wanda.
Hi, I'm a woman. Great news about Jack Draper. I wanted to say, I'm going to be working at the White House in February. I'm really excited. I'm a consultant, so it'll be really exciting.
You're a consultant?
But I can't...
For what?
I'm going to work at the White House in February, and I cannot get any cricket boxes. They've sold out on Amazon, so I'm a bit concerned about that.
Wanda, are you a listener with material?
No. I am a consultant, and I am going there in February. And
what do people consult you about?
Well, I look at how if the waste products, what waste products we can make into products that are fit for human consumption. So I'm supporting the
When
the
you
White
say
House with
when you
that.
say consumption, do you mean eating?
Yeah, so it's kind of ultra processed plus
Waste products that are changed into something people eat.
Well, it's just the way you put it. It sounds a bit grim, but
Wow.
yeah, it's just finding other food sources beyond like the regular food sources.
Like what?
Well, it's different chemicals.
We're eating
kind of,
chemicals?
Well, it's kind of where the ultra process is kind of. It's like more organic plastic materials.
We're eating plastic.
Well, it's just finding other sources of food for humans and for cattle. And,
So if I came to you as and wanted to consult with you about what we might be eating in the future, then your answer as a consultant would be chemicals and plastic.
Well, I've got a PhD in it's a science, and it's about supporting the food chain.
You have a PhD in what?
Well, it's chemical engineering.
You have a PhD in chemical engineering. What was your thesis?
Well, how to make it's about how to make waste products fit for human consumption to improve the...
Right. Okay. Anybody believing that? Hands in the air. You believe that?
I mean, I just wanted to put my hand in the air.
He just couldn't help himself. And the look on his little face, he's taking part. Ah. No, sorry, Wanda. Not believing a word of that. Better luck next time. We're going to be eating... Well, actually, we eat plastic now. But not as a meal. I mean, you don't go into a restaurant and peruse the menu and then decide you'll have the plastic, please. How is the plastic today? Oh, it's a very good choice, madam. Don't call me madam. It's usually how it goes. I think I'll have a bottle of the chemicals to go with the plastic. What do you recommend? Another restaurant, madam. Edgware. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Nick.
Stephen.
Nice to finally get through to you.
Oh, here we are.
Can I ask you, respectfully, what would you say in a month or so's time when the excess death figures for cold winter come out that are thoroughly swelled by the fact that your beloved Labour Party has dispensed with the winter fuel payments for millions of pensioners who are now frightened to turn their heating up? I mean, will you
as opposed to last year,
nice little Boris Johnson little thing?
Something about Boris Johnson. What was that?
I said, will you play your little amusing impersonation about Boris Johnson when you're trying to justify all those excess deaths?
What's Boris Johnson got to do with it?
Well, you just put him in now and again, don't you, just to liven the conversation up. I'm just saying that, you make frivolous comments.
Yeah.
Please answer my question. What are you going to say about the excess deaths when the winter fuel payments have been shut off?
How many excess deaths?
Shut them off.
Well, the Tories were probably going to do that because the Treasury had been asking them for a dog's age to do just that. And it's absolutely true that there are many pensioners who do not need that money. Pensioners are that age group is considerably better off than the young who equally don't have the money.
Okay. Can I therefore say that the way forward should have been that the Labour Party are continually using as an excuse the fact that come next April, or this April now, sorry, we've passed the new year, this April, the pension will be going up quite a lot
Yes.
because of the triple lock.
Right.
What they should have done, not everybody's got any money in the bank. A lot of pensioners live week to week.
Right.
So
well,
if they
it's
were
means
relying on this-
tested, Stephen. That's the essence of it. It is means tested. Those that need it get it. Those that don't.
Yes, but you will know, and you know already, that there's a lot of people, pensioners, that will not go through
Right, and
the
a lot of young
laborious
people similarly.
routine. Yeah, but you have you ever seen the forms?
If their forms are the problem, Stephen, then that is down to the Conservatives who have been in charge for 14 years. For crying out loud, you want Labour to fix everything that has gone wrong under 14 years of Tory rule in the first 7 months, including Christmas, by the way.
Well, all I've heard since the new government have come in is blaming the Tories.
That's
every
because
sentence they
it's their
come out with.
fault.
Well, can I just finish what I was going to say? Had they realised that the pensioners haven't necessarily got savings...
That's because it's means tested. It's means tested, Stephen. Right, it's means tested.
But it's so complicated, you have
Then
no idea.
blame the Conservatives, Stephen, because they have been in charge. It's like we're going around in a tight circle here. And then you'll say, well, you're getting sick and tired of them blaming the Tories for everything. They're only blaming the Tories for everything because it's their fault. Everything that is wrong with this country is the fault of the party that has been governing us for the last 14 years. Everything. How could it not be? Unless there were intractable problems that they inherited 14 years ago, that they worked diligently to try to fix, but they couldn't make any inroads. Name one thing like that. You can't. So everything is their fault. And it is entirely predictable. I said it was going to happen, but it is just dispiriting and kind of depressing that people insist that because everything is not fixed yet, it's Labour's fault. But crying out loud, it's just so infantile. All this country has done since Labour won the election is scream like a baby. And what's absolutely frightening is that people are so gullible. You know that it's not true that this is Labour's fault, that everything that is wrong with the country is Labour's fault, that schools that are falling down, riddled with asbestos and the breaking concrete, and kids are being taught in porta cabins. You know that that's not Labour's fault. You know it's not Labour's fault that you wait for 6 months to see a consultant and then wait another 6 months to get an MRI scan. You know that's not Labour's fault. You know it's not Labour's fault that that wages have not kept up with inflation and that the super rich have got ever more super rich and the rest of us have just been slaving away and getting nothing for it. We create wealth, but we don't actually enjoy any of it. Like used to be the case in the 50s and the 60s and in the 70s, in fact. I mean, wealth has been created and the wealth of billionaires has gone stratospheric over the past few years, particularly since COVID, and none of the rest of us have enjoyed any uplift from it. And you know that's not Labour's fault, but you're blaming them anyway. It's just absolutely ludicrous. And, I mean, Keir Starmer must be pulling his hair out. Aylesbury. Francis.
Good afternoon, Nick.
Yes, Francis.
You play that jingle by President Trump. I love the poorly educated.
I love the poorly educated.
Yes.
That's the one. Well, I looked into it, and I'm very, very upset. 79% of Americans... Oh, sorry, the other way around. 21% of Americans can't read, which... really upset me.
Wait a minute. Wait.
I got that from the world.
Hang on. 21% of Americans can't read?
Yes.
No.
Well, according to research I saw by the World Bank.
If the World Bank said it, then how does the World Bank know?
I don't know, actually. I really don't know. And of the 79% who can read, 54% would struggle to read, have a reading skill of an 11-year-old in the UK.
Yeah. Just look at our most popular newspapers and how they are written. They are written for someone of a reading age of, and I can't remember precisely, but it's something of the order of 10. A reading age of 10 is about average for adults in this country. Yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing.
That's amazing. It is indeed. And last week, you had a fellow one who said he loved President Trump because he was shot. Well, he'd want to marry Ronald Reagan.
He loved President Trump because he was shot. I prefer people who weren't shot.
Yeah. He'd love Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan was shot in the lungs, wasn't he? He had his ribs broken by a bullet.
Well, I don't know. I didn't. I was a little bit too young to really be, all over the medical details. But I certainly am glad that you brought them up on this show. Excellent work there, Francis. Thanks a lot, mate. Ta-da. 0345 6060 973. When just the moment he said good afternoon, I was thinking, warning. Shall I cut him off now? I thought. Bedford, David. Is there anybody out there? Oh, that's my fault. There he is. David.
Hello?
Yes, David.
Hello, Nick. Yeah, I was just, you were talking about AI intelligence.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, my point is from the conversations I have had with Gemini, which is Google's AI intelligence,
yeah,
it may ask me the wrong answer, but it's non-judgmental.
It may ask you the wrong answer.
Well, yeah. So if I ask it a question, it will not come up with the right answer.
Right.
It's non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental. But okay. Yeah. So what did you ask it that you thought it would be judgmental about?
Well, I was very deep in conversation with it, and I was talking about the Constitution.
The Constitution?
No, sorry. The
Constipation? Consultation?
No. Consciousness of the universe.
You are talking to a robot about the consciousness of the universe?
Yes.
What was the specific question you asked it?
I asked this if there was a consciousness of the universe.
Do you mean something like a higher being?
Absolutely, yes.
Like God, right. Okay, so is there a God, you said?
Well, no, not the question I asked, but in general respect.
More or less, right. Okay,
yeah.
Well, I'm interested. What did it say?
Well, it turned around and said that there may be a possibility of it.
Oh.
But then I asked, would there be a non-aspect of it?
Oh, what?
So I'm not a god.
Well, isn't that the same question? Is there a God? Is there not a God? Isn't that the same thing?
Well, no. It depends if you... It's a judgmental form of, is there a right or wrong answer?
Yeah, well, okay, so it must have said, no, there is no right or wrong answer. It seems as though the internet is agnostic. It said, didn't know.
Yes and no to the answer.
It's saying
yes
and
no.
Right.
But the main thing I would say is, when I said, is there not a God, i.e. not a consciousness of a universe?
Yeah.
Yeah. It went into explanations of why there not be a explanation to a non-God. Yeah.
Well, now you've kind of lost me. Can I talk directly to the robot? Can you put the robot on?
I'd love you to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
The main point I'm trying to make, realistically, is even if there is not a God, there is no consciousness to the universe. We still live in the universe. Yeah.
Yeah. We still live in the universe, even though there may or may not be a God. Yes.
Right. So we still exist. And the universe still exists.
Right. So there might be a God, but there might not be not a God. Wow, blown my mind.
Yeah. And when I've blown my mind, it comes back to... when I've already blown my mind.
Yeah.
When I've blown my mind, it comes back to me of what I am at this moment.
Yeah. Which is?
Unfortunately, only existing... Well, no, not only existing.
You're inhabiting a meat sack right now, David, and every moment of your being is a unique moment in the history of the universe. Nobody has ever gone through the same thing that you are going through right now. You are a unique and special person. Remember that.
Just like you, Nick. Absolutely.
Well, not just like me.
No, you are unique. Human sack.
Yeah, I'm a unique meat sack. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it's been. How should we put it? It's been inspirational. No, not quite. It's been peculiar. That doesn't really sum it up. It's been awesome. Yes. I am full of awe. Up to my eyeballs with it, I am. Thanks a lot, David. As soon as the robot lets you know anything really significant, like, 42, something like that, then I want you to let me know straight away. Promise me you'll do that. Let's see. Merseyside. Hello, Daniel.
Hello there. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Well, I'll tell you what's true. Here's a term. When they're trying to blow your head off, you know it might be too late. But Trump didn't act that way. He went on to do greater things. He went on to fight. He went on to preach to his people, his followers.
Preach?
He went on. Absolutely.
Preach?
He went on.
What, like a religious
Absolutely.
man?
Well, preach in the sense that I have a message. I'm here to teach it.
Right, because preach has religious overtones, doesn't it? Do you think of him as a religious man?
I don't, but I haven't got a thesaurus to hand, so I will apologise for that. But
yeah, but
I would like
you
to
don't
say
need a
this.
thesaurus to know what a religious man means. I mean,
you may have misunderstood me. You may have misunderstood me. What I'm
okay.
trying to say, he's preaching to the masses. Have you heard that expression?
Yeah, but what's he
There
saying?
are people who find him valuable.
Valuable? In what way?
Yeah, I find him valuable.
Go on.
I'll tell you exactly how I find him valuable. He's a fighter. He tried to shoot him in the face. He ducked down. The bullets were whizzing over his head.
No. He didn't duck down. God moved his head. That's where we are with that at the moment.
You can tickle me all you want. I think he's
no,
great.
Daniel, he said himself, God saved me so that I can make America great again.
Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's wrong. The fact is, bullets were whizzing over his head. And he went on to do great things, win the presidential election, and now he's in power. What are you going to do when there's 50,000 of them saying change, fight? Are you going to still mock them?
50,000 of who?
Followers.
He's only got 50,000 followers?
Well, when there's 50,000 to be added to 50,000, say we're dealing with 100,000, how about then? I'm trying to tell you there's a lot of people who like him in the hundreds of thousands.
I think 49 million voted for him.
Well, then that just shows how shallow my faith is in him. But maybe I'm getting a bit religious. The reason I'm getting religious is this. Do people want peace on planet Earth? Do they want it now, or do they want it in future generations for their children's children or whatever? Because we have a chance every day to have world peace, and Trump symbolises that.
What, the guy who said that he was going to take Greenland by force, that he was going to invade Panama and take the Panama Canal, that guy?
It's a shame he's not on air now to defend himself. I think he had a tactic whereby he positions American military forces around the world, and that's his tactic. And if it means moving into places, new endeavours, then that's what he'll do.
Yeah, but he didn't place those American troops around the world. They were there already.
Absolutely, which is a beautiful thing. America's got an absolutely incredible army.
Define incredible?
Have you ever witnessed the power of the AC-130 or the A-10 Warthog?
Power of a warthog. No, I haven't, Daniel. And, I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but seriously, what's the point? It's like having a conversation with one of those bot accounts on Twitter that have got 4 followers and an official blue tick. Thank you, Daniel. You have delighted us enough. Muswell Hill. Hello, Chris.
Hello. Good morning, Nick. Tell me, is yours a comedy program?
What?
Is yours a comedy program?
No.
Well, you'd make a great comedian because you made me laugh.
Oh.
Do you know who his opponent? Do you know who Trump's opponent was in the election?
Yes, I do remember back that far.
You do? Come on out. Do you think she would have made a good president?
Better.
You think she knows what day it is? Can she string a sentence together?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. Have you heard her speak?
Yes.
You've heard her salad of words, and you think Putin was terrified at the prospect of her becoming president?
Do you think that Vladimir Putin was terrified at the prospect of Donald Trump becoming president, or did he have his fingers crossed, hoping for it?
Absolutely not. He was terrified. That's why he's coming to the table. Because he knows he can't play games anymore.
No, he's coming to the table because Donald Trump has just given him everything he wants.
No. Donald Trump is a realist, and he knows that Putin's not going to walk away. Millions have been killed in this war.
Donald Trump is not a realist. Donald Trump is a fantasist. The opposite of everything you have just said is true. The opposite of everything you've just said.
You're the one who is a fantasist. Putin could carry on with this war for the next 20 years.
Do you believe Chris, do you believe that entering into a negotiation to sign a deal with Donald Trump is worth anybody's time?
Absolutely.
What makes you say that? What makes you say that?
Because he's a tough man. He's a man who makes deals. He spent all his life making deals.
Yeah, all of them terrible. He is a serial failure at business. If that's the product of his deal making, then nobody should sign a deal with Donald Trump.
Have you made the sort of money that Trump's made?
No, but then my daddy didn't give me $450 million.
But how many billions has he got, though? How many billions has he got? How many deals has he made through his life?
I don't know, Chris. What's the answer to that?
He's a deal maker, and he will make a deal with Putin.
Yeah, nobody should ever sign a deal with Donald Trump. He doesn't stick to deals.
Well, what's your proof of that? Can you tell me?
He tore up the nuclear deal with Iran, a deal that protected millions and took years to sign, and then he woke up... Listen to me! And then he woke up grumpy and tore it up in 12 minutes. He tore up the NAFTA trade deal between America and Canada and Mexico. He tore up a nuclear weapons deal with Russia. He tore up the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal. He tore up the Paris Agreement on climate change. He pulled out of UNESCO membership. He took America out of the UN Human Rights Council. He took America out of the UN Agreement for Palestinian refugees. Name me one deal that he has actually kept to.
Well, I think many of them he was quite right to do.
Well, that's irrespective of what I'm talking about. I'm saying he never honours a deal. Name me one deal, I'll make it really easy for you, just one, that he has signed and kept to.
Well, I don't know specifically which deals.
Okay, you don't, all right. And whatever it is you're doing to your voice, Chris, I would stop doing it immediately because you sound... I don't know, what's a nice way of saying... disturbed. Fleet in Hampshire. Hello, Kirsty.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I am great, mate.
Good. I was just telling your assistant that I was chatting at work about the nuttiness of Donald Trump, and he's literally asking to be shot.
Uh-oh.
And as a joke.
I don't think he's literally asking to be shot.
Well, okay, hang on a minute. He's messed with so many groups of people, but at the beginning of this week, when he messed with the FBI agents, I just thought, that's it. I started a sweepstake at work.
Yeah, I don't think FBI agents are going to shoot the President of the United States of America. Not
really?
Not again, anyway.
You are so naive. He's messed with so many groups, and he's joking aside, crossed the line this week. I don't think he's going to make the end of this year.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Kirsty. Can you get me a dictionary? I want to look up naive. Does it mean thin? Let's have Norwood. Hello, Chelsea. Hello, Norwood.
Hi, how you doing?
Yes,
Nick?
good, thanks. Very good.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, right, I'm putting a plug in for Phil Taylor, who was the drummer for Motorhead.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I listen to his music every day, Ace of Spades, and
other
Bomber.
songs are available.
And
yeah.
I think, do you know what? If there's one guy I can aspire to, who I think is an amazing person, that's Phil Taylor from Motorhead.
Right. Good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've got no idea.
Rock and roll!
we're just naming drummers now. Edgware. Hello, Alice.
Yes.
Alice.
Yes.
Yes, Alice.
My question is, why are you so anti-Trump?
Why am I so anti-Trump?
Yeah.
Because of everything he says and does.
Are you more capable of judging him than anybody else? Who are you? What is your qualification to judge him?
What is my qualification to judge him? I'm a human being. What qualifications do I need?
Well, what is your educational background?
What?
Educational background.
What is my educational background?
Yeah.
Do I have to have achieved a certain standard of education in order to criticise somebody?
You have no right to criticize a elected leader of the free country.
What?
He's elected, duly elected by the people of the United States.
Well, some might believe that. Yeah, I beg to differ.
And you don't. You don't understand politics, do you?
I do. What is it about politics that I need to understand in order to criticise Donald Trump?
Well, he's a president.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
You are not aware of it. And
no, I am aware of it.
Due respect to a president.
I should respect a president.
Yes.
I should respect the office of the President of the United States of America.
Yes.
Well, I will when he does. How does that sound?
Who are you? Who are you? I'm asking you.
What?
Just because you have a mic in front of you and a captive audience to listen to your rubbish?
No, it's not a captive audience. They can tune me out any time they like.
But you day in and day out, you get on. You are paid very too well.
What?
You live comfortably and talk rubbish.
That sounds like a plan. Live comfortably and talk rubbish.
Yeah.
I'll do my very best. Is your name actually Alice?
Yeah. It doesn't matter who the name is.
Right. Okay. Can I call you Alice?
You can call me anything you like.
Right.
Call me Trump if you like.
Just as long as I call you. Okay. I'll give you a ring when I'm off the air. We'll have a chat then. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay. Note of resignation in his voice. He's like, oh, okay. I'll pencil you in. Pencil you in for later on. I'm just going to check my diary, see if I'm free. That was Alice. I understood some of that. Not all. East Grinstead. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Happy New Year to you,
Yes,
Nick.
the same to you, Robert.
Hi, I understand that petition. It's gone past 3 million to have an election.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it will necessarily... Well, I don't know. I mean, it might solve something, but it's...
What
it's
might
scary.
solve
I don't
something?
know. Yeah, first time in my life. I'm not sure about what I'm calling about. My problem for Arj is a very superficial one. He's wearing a red tie. I know a lot. He's been doing that the last month.
Yeah, if I had to face that colour, I would not wear a red tie.
Okay. Well, look, I like the colour red. I'm an artist. I don't mind colours. I'm not scared of colours. I like red. I like blue, green, whatever.
Yeah.
I think UKIP did well because there was an article about UKIP ages ago in The Spectator, and they were talking about UKIP's branding, and they were saying I think Nigel Farage is a brilliant politician, but the
Nigel,
branding...
I mean, Robert, you said a little while ago that this is, we may have spoken before, I don't know, but you said this is the first time that you have called and you didn't know what you were going to say. Is this you figuring that out in real time?
No.
Because you seem to be all over the shop.
No, my points are this. My points about
points.
They're about the political landscape that we're in at the moment.
Yes.
Where you have a deeply unpopular Prime Minister.
Well,
not
really.
You don't think so?
No, not really. No, not that unpopular. I mean, take a breath, for crying out loud. The man's been in for 7 months. He hasn't actually done anything yet. He did two things which the Tories were probably going to do anyway. And the Tories and their client journalists have been raining gunfire down upon him from the moment that he won the election, which was entirely predictable. I'm getting a bit tired of this. Anyway, good attempt, I suppose. Not really. Cambridge. Hello, John.
Oh, my word. Hello, Nick.
Yes, John.
Do I sound clear?
Yeah, very clear. As a bell.
Do I sound as clear as a, person from New Zealand or, Japan?
Yes, you do.
Really?
Are you in New Zealand or Japan?
No, I'm not. I'm in Cambridge. You said
Cambridge,
that, but listen,
right.
Yes. I bought my landline because I heard people calling you from Japan and New Zealand, sounding super clear, and I ordered a landline, and I called you up a little while ago, but I forgot to actually use my landline, and I called you on my mobile. I'm calling you from my landline, and am I genuinely sounding clearer?
It sounds like you're in the room. In fact, it sounds like you're occupying a space in my head. It's a little disconcerting.
Okay.
What does the landline look like?
Well,
the phone.
Actually,
not the line. I mean, that's just a wire. But what's the phone look like?
Is that kind of a bit lame? I bought don't laugh at me, Nick. I'm really young, right? But I bought a retro phone to make it look like it's from the 90s or something.
Does it have a rotary dial?
It has, yes.
Brilliant.
Sorry. Anyway,
no,
Nick,
that is brilliant. Is it a trim phone?
A what?
A trim phone. Is it sort of square, and it sits on a cradle that when the handset is off, you can use the cradle as a handle? No.
When the handset is off...
Yeah, but the thing that you're talking to me on, that's the handset.
Yeah,
and then there's the main body of the phone. When you put the phone down, does it go onto a...
cradle?
A cradle?
Yes.
And you can use the cradle as a handle?
I don't know what you mean, cradle handle.
Okay. You know what? The important thing is that it doesn't matter.
Okay, look, but Nick, don't cut me off, literally, because I've got more important things to talk about.
Right, well, you've gone to all this effort, buying a phone and all. Carry on.
All right, number one, my name is not... What did you call me, actually?
Just what's on the screen. And now I'm getting concerned. John, your name is John, and you are calling from Cambridge for the purpose of this call.
Yeah, my name's not John.
That doesn't matter either.
Okay, I go to St John's College at Cambridge, but my name was actually not John. Can you hear that? That's my mobile, isn't it?
I tell you what, John, is there a point that we are rushing very slowly towards?
Okay, yeah, no, sorry. No, basically, I spoke to you I think July last year, just before the election.
Right.
And I said to you that there is one, I mean, obviously, I don't much like the Conservatives, at all, I hate them. But one thing positive has changed during the 40 years which they kind of destroyed the country, which is the passport system. Because I said to you that I basically was going to Poland to see my ex, and he was actually, no, that bit's not important. But the point is...
Oh, my God, there is a point. Any moment now, it'll be hoving into view. There it is on the horizon. Yes, John?
I've already seen now. Okay. Basically, I sent in, my passport, and I got it back in, 48 hours.
Yes.
And...
Yes?
I genuinely cannot remember why I called you up now.
Okay. Well, at least it was a Giant waste of time. Bermondsey. Ruthus. A Ruthus.
Yes, Nick.
There you are. Go ahead.
There was a caller that called regarding talking about Trump's last child.
Yeah.
Barron Trump, and she was apologizing after your view of what people thought he said to Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think she should not be apologizing because we all should have an opinion, or should be able to have our own opinion as individuals, and then not be able to start apologizing because your view almost made her change her mind. Because I don't understand. That's for me. I don't think that should be something that should be happening. Like, it's for every one of us should be able to have the views. So for me, I really admire Trump's family.
You admire Trump's family.
Yes, because if you look at what he went through from the assassination, and also being chased around.
What he went through in the assassination? Are you joking?
Yeah,
he had, at the very most, he had his ear nicked, which was such a small nick that it had vanished the next day.
But is for you? You're saying that it's vanished the next day, but is you think? Are you trying to say it was something that was staged or something that was fake?
Well, that's a different issue entirely. You're saying that he went through some kind of tragedy in your mind at the somebody attempted to kill him.
Yes.
I'm saying at the very most, he had his ear nicked ever so slightly, such that now you can't tell that there was ever a cut there, if indeed there was. But like I said, that's a separate issue. And he was so discomforted that his first order of business was to get his security to pick up his shoes. No, not even his shoes. The lifts that he uses in his shoes to make him look taller.
Nick, this on your part, that's for you. That's your view. That's what I would say.
I know it is.
But from my view, if you're in a position where you'll be shot at,
yeah. Well, that's half the kids in American schools.
But that's making human, because if you. Sometimes things happen. You might not know the first word that you're going to utter out your mouth. You might so that you might even forget.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It looked pretty staged to me. Fight. Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, what do you expect to say? Oh, everybody go home, run for a cover, or what should you say?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're basing your approval and your appreciation of his entire family, in your words, because somebody shot at him.
I do appreciate it, because I should appreciate it, because, again, Barron Trump shaking Biden's hand.
Well, Barron Trump wasn't there. Okay, so you like him because he got shot at. Okay. Well, that's a pretty big group, though, in America. People that have been shot at. Dorset. Hillary.
Hello, Nick.
Hillary.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for making your call.
Anytime. You had a strange woman on last night who started off with, "I'm a woman."
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
And she said she was a PhD in, chemical engineering.
Oh, yeah. And
she said she's researching into making food out of plastic and chemicals.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that now, yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't believe it, and I couldn't believe it either.
No.
But I've since found out that they actually are.
They're making food out of plastic?
Yes, and they're winning prizes for it.
Now, they're winning prizes for their ability to make food out of plastic, or the taste of the food?
For the research, I think.
Right. Food, plastic. Let's see what the internet says. What is food plastic? Is food-grade plastic really safe? Well, not to eat.
No,
Where did you find this information?
I found it on the internet.
Whereabouts?
Are they really making food out of plastic? And that came up with plastic in food.
Right. Wait a minute. Are they really making food out of plastic? Oh, voice search has been turned off. Why is that then? Oh, God, it's so difficult. Modern technology. I hate it. Are they really making food out of plastic? One moment. Much of our food is actually grown on plastic mulch.
No, that's not it.
That's not it.
Anyway, I found it. I can't remember the name of the publication, but if you look up, put the word prize in for making food out of plastic.
One moment.
Prizes won.
Prizes for making food out of plastic. How much does making something out of plastic cost? No. What is the real price of getting rid of plastic packaging? No. I think that you have maybe dreamt this.
No, I haven't.
Well, I can't. How much do restaurants spend on food packaging? No. Hidden price of plastic, uncovering an environmental... No. I think you have maybe been hallucinating, Hillary.
No, I haven't. I'm going to send it to you on WhatsApp, the link.
How many fingers am I holding up?
5.
It's the right answer. So there's nothing wrong with your eyes. Well, leave it with me and I'll see what I can find, all right?
Okay.
All
nice
right.
to talk to you.
Cheers, my dear. Thanks a lot, Hillary. Food out of plastic. Anybody want some? Norbury. Hello, Tony.
Yes, hello, Nick.
Tony.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I just want to go back to 5 years Brexit. Hasn't been great, has it?
Well, I've had better.
Yeah, just going back to the conversations that James O'Brien had with Bodge and also
Nigel Farage.
Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
And also with Budge.
Right.
You called him.
I didn't. I haven't heard that one of those interviews. No, I assume that there's more than one.
Well, I mean, I heard both interviews with Nigel Farage and with
Mr. Blobby.
Well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think James O'Brien had his pants pulled down by both of them. Really?
Really? I don't think you listened to it, Tony. Because if you did, then you would not have come to that conclusion. So I think you're a faker. As in... Liar! Westminster. Hassan.
Hey, Nick.
Yes,
Nick,
Hassan.
I've been following the exploits of Rachel Reeves or Rachel from Accounts.
Oh, yes.
And I feel... I used to be a banker for many years.
I am sorry to hear that.
The tricks. I didn't do any of these tricks, right? So she went around sort of buying gifts for her colleagues,
well,
and then they would buy gifts for her.
One gift, yes. Carry on.
And then they would all start giving each other gifts on the bank's expense.
Which was per the bank's rules.
Yes. But then she did something silly, which is that she bought a gift, which was a bottle of champagne, charged the bank for it, and then just forgot to give it to her friend.
Right.
So that is probably when that friend snitched on her.
Oh, well, then we definitely want the Conservatives back in power straight away, and then we can get back to, how the country used to be run in an upstanding and moral way.
No, but I think what it shows is that there is hardly a difference between these two clans. And because you have
Hassan, you have got to be kidding me. The examples that you've just given,
yes.
they hold a candle to what this bloke got up to?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Are you serious?
No, but just give them time, right? You saw Oliver Gwynne and
give
his
them
sort of
time.
wonderful
So
party mouth.
we'll pre-convict them for future crimes. Is that what you're saying?
No. I think every week there is some interesting tidbit, right? So it was not. It was.
If I went through your life with a tooth comb, Hassan, I bet I could find some interesting tidbits there too.
No. I will not have charged my bank for champagne gifts. I would not have charged my bank or my friends to dress up my wife.
You might have done if that was what the banks were allowing.
No, but banks are never allowing. It was just a cheeky attempt to get money on the freebie.
Oh,
Look,
okay. Well, let's get Nigel Farage to run the country, and then we can all be happy. God, I just can't stand it. All this nitpicking. Honiton, Athena.
Hello.
Athena.
Hello, Nick.
Athena.
You know that guy that was talking to you about the internet?
Yes.
Right. Well, we've got internet. We live in a rural area just outside Honiton in Devon.
Yeah.
And we've got a company called GigaClear that provides us with internet.
How much is that then?
Well, we got an introductory thing, and it's 6 months free.
Free?
And then it... yeah, it's only because they've not long started up.
Yeah.
So it's a case of what he'd have to do is give them a ring and have a chat with them and see whether they could supply it to him.
Is it from satellite?
It's oh, hang on a second. Ryan.
I think we've discovered a flaw in Athena's little scheme.
It's not satellite, is it? What is it?
It'll be a wire that comes in the side of her house.
Fibre.
Yeah.
It's fibre.
Okay.
Nick.
Thank you, Athena.
All right.
I'll take that under advisement. No, that's the whole point. He can't get fibre because he lives too far away from anywhere. What Athena has just done is tell us that other internet companies are available. Nice name, though. Athena. I'm pretty sure that was one of them puppet model things. You know, like Thunderbirds. Athena. Didn't she used to swim? Pretty sure about that. Leeds. Teresa.
Hello, Nick.
Teresa.
Nick. I've been waiting ages to get through here.
Yes.
Yes, and I've been... Anyway, a few... Well, 10 minutes ago... I know you're closing soon.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes ago, somebody were... It's about Mrs. Brown's boys.
Oh, yeah.
Can we go back to that lady who rang you up?
Mm-hmm.
And you were agreeing with her about something... He'd made some awful... Well, I've not seen... I like Brendan O'Carroll. And I like Mrs. Brown's boys. What was it? Because I've been looking on here while you know, while you were talking, and I couldn't find actually what it was.
Find what?
Offensive.
Find what? What was?
What was offensive about what he said? But all I can see is this. It's made some racial implication while they were rehearsing, not while they were on air.
No, I think you missed the point entirely there, Teresa.
What happened?
Nothing happened. We were just discussing that it wasn't funny.
Well, that particular... I don't know what it was that wasn't funny.
Mrs. Brown's boys.
Well, all the series, everything?
Yes, all of it.
Well, I do think it's funny.
Well,
and I do...
Well, that makes...
I'm not just saying me, but...
Yeah, that makes you...
Why?
That makes you wrong, then.
Well...
No, you're looking for a news story. There is none. We were just talking about whether this or that programme was funny, and we had concluded, correctly, in my opinion, that Mrs. Brown's boys isn't.
It might not be. It might not be up to. It's not up to date. It's not in today's genre of humour.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
But of the generation that Brendan O'Carroll belongs to, I'm not. And I tell you what, I didn't think you were 64. I was really shocked. I just checked you out, and you are 64, aren't you? I thought you were 10 years younger.
Like when I'm 64. Yes.
But you are.
I've made it.
Rock and roll!
Yeah. Will you still love me, Teresa? Will you still need me? when I'm 64, because I'm there
I
already.
think our programme's great, Nick, honestly. But I just don't... I think it's okay, this Mrs. Brown's...
Well, now, wait a minute. Now, that's backing down. First it was funny, and now... Hang on a minute. By your own admission, now it's okay.
No, it is okay.
Okay is not funny. Okay is like, meh.
Who says it's not funny?
You did. You just said it was okay.
I didn't say... Oh, no.
Right, wind back the tape.
Okay.
We've got evidence, Teresa.
What evidence? You have not. You and that lady who was ringing up. You agreed.
You just said it was
something.
okay.
I don't know what it was.
Okay is just barely bearable. That's what okay is.
It's not. It's funny. And it's humorous. It does. It makes me laugh, and I like it. And I hope to do a few more series.
Oh, please!
Look, we're
more?
still around. That generation, it's not. It's not stuff that belongs in the past. It's comical.
Well,
and it's typical.
Well,
it's typical.
I'll agree with you on that. It is comical, as in.
Yeah, but it's not offensive.
No, I didn't say that it was offensive. I don't care about offensive.
Well,
is
what
it?
was that conversation about with that lady then? That
is
you
it
got
funny
so
or not?
serious about?
Well, I'll tell you what, Teresa. There is a way of listening to this show after it has happened, and it's called the Nick Abbot The Whole Show podcast, and you can relive that experience in stereo.
I wanted to know what it was. I just wanted to know what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what had happened. I thought
Right.
something
Well,
really serious had happened.
There's nothing happened.
Said,
No.
Oh,
No, don't worry about it. You need to stand down, Teresa. Unarm yourself. There is nothing to be concerned about. Nothing has happened other than we have come to the conclusion that it's not funny.
It is funny. It's just you that doesn't have...
Yeah.
No,
maybe I've lost my mind.
Yeah, but I didn't know what it was about because I've not been here at Christmas, and I didn't know. I didn't see what.
Right.
It wasn't actually on the TV, was it? It was just during rehearsals when they were all sat round.
Right. Well, I don't know nothing about that. That's not what we were talking about at all.
Right.
So where did you go for Christmas? It's a secret. You were on the run.
I know. I just realised I'm on radio. I don't want to. I just wasn't watching the TV. That's all.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, I just wondered what it was all about.
Yeah. No. Don't worry about a thing, Teresa. You may start to calm down now. All right. Cheers, my dear. A concerned citizen. Huddersfield. Hello, Darren.
Aye.
Darren.
This Lego thing, it's showing how much of a lunatic asylum Britain's coming.
Well, it just seems a little left field. Let's put it like that.
Oh, it seems mental, and the people that are coming up with it, unless I'm getting mistaken, are starting to come across dumber than a blonde, and I'm not talking just a natural blonde.
Dumber than a blonde? Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Okay, say goodbye, Darren. Manchester. Hello, Raj.
Hi there, Nick. How are you this evening? Are you well?
Yes, good, thanks.
Hello?
Yes.
Great.
Hello?
I think I've... Yeah, can you hear me?
No.
Well, that's not good, is it? I can hear you. Anywho, I'm just going to talk anyway, regardless whether you can hear me or not. I think I've worked it out how they work out how many people have left, how many millionaires have left after when the government came into power.
Yes.
So, because I went to Belgium a couple of weeks ago, and there was a guy standing there with a form and a little clipboard thing, and he said to me, "Are you a millionaire?" And I sort of said yes. And he said, "Are you coming back to the UK?" And I said no. And I think that's how they did it. I think that's how they worked it out. Because if I'd said no and I'm coming back, then I don't think I would have been added onto that list.
Right. Well, that is a very believable story. Thanks for passing that on, Raj. Petersfield. Hello, Paul.
Oh, hello.
Paul.
Yeah, couple of things. The first thing is we're living in a corrupt, broken Britain.
Yes.
That's bankrupt, spending all the most taxes that we've ever had to spend in my lifetime.
Ever.
Which is, I'm a similar age to yourself. And the other thing is, slipping on the ice back in the 80s, I think it was, when it was rain coming down and then hitting the pavement and just turning straight to ice.
In the 80s?
Oh, that's when I saw it, yeah.
Right.
In the south.
But it wasn't... It didn't have anything to do with the 80s, though. The way you said that, it made it appear as though...
It happened to me.
It happened to you.
I experienced
right. Okay.
it in the 80s,
I get that. Right, did you fall over?
I put my helmet on.
Oh, right.
Went out the porch.
That was going to be my next question. Did you hit yourself on the head?
Well, luckily I had my helmet on and I went out of the porch onto the frozen ice that was hitting the ground, straight on my back, and then went back in.
And went straight back inside.
Back inside and didn't go to work that day.
Right, that is very, very good advice.
Emergency, everybody to get from street. Emergency, everybody to get from street.
Barnet, Joseph.
Hi, Nick.
Joseph.
Hi. I'm going to start off with a very simple question. Have you ever heard the saying, kill them with kindness?
Yes.
Right. That is exactly what Trump is doing with Putin. If you go back to when Russia first invaded Ukraine, you had practically the entire world saying, Putin's a warmonger, he's a war criminal, this, that, insulting him. And Putin did not want to negotiate with any of these people. So what Trump has gone and done, and I believe Trump's an absolute genius, right? What Trump is doing with Putin now is actually trying to befriend him in hopes of ending this war, and I believe he will do it.
I thought they were friends.
Yeah, but not for the wrong reasons.
Huh?
There's a reason. It's not like having a bad friend.
No, Donald Trump said that he is friends with Vladimir Putin.
And that is an amazing, amazing thing, because that means that there is... Yes.
I thought that they were traditional enemies, America and Russia. Why would it be amazing if they were now getting on like a house on fire while attacking a Western country?
Well, it's very, very simple. Very simple.
I'm glad to hear it.
He's killing Putin with kindness. He is slowly withdrawing him out of Ukraine. And by the way...
How's he drawing him out of Ukraine? By giving him a major part of Ukraine?
He's not giving him anything in Ukraine.
I believe that is the plan, as stated by Donald Trump.
All right, I don't know where you're getting your information from, Nick.
Donald Trump?
But, no, I've been following the situation very carefully.
Well, I'm glad. Go ahead.
So, what he's doing with Putin is basically Putin's now cozying up to him, if you know what I mean.
No.
And he's basically, befriending him, as I've already said.
Yeah.
And I believe it will work out very, very well.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that.
Now, as for Doge and Elon Musk, what has been found in one department was that the US government was giving $7 billion to teaching news reporters in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's not true, Joseph. I don't know where you got that information from. $7 billion is just a number that somebody, maybe you, I don't know, made up. They just pulled it out of their ear. That is completely untrue. Whatever website you're trawling through during the day, Joseph, I would recommend that you stop doing that immediately and, I don't know, go play in a sand pit or get some Lego or, just amuse yourself in some other way, because it is scrambling your brain. I mean, I don't know why after your name on my screen it's got brackets aged 17. I don't know what relevance that is, but apparently it was important to alert me to that fact. But it doesn't mean to say that you have some direct route to the truth, Joseph. Just get off the internet, for crying out loud. Stop gawping into your phone. And I say that with love. Hitchin, Terry.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick. You've obviously been to the same school of politics as Donald Trump. We have an election, and because you don't like the result, you go on to, you just have a sedition against it, night after night after night. We voted to leave Brexit. The EU...
You voted to leave Brexit? I don't think that is actually accurate, Terry. Would you like to think that out again?
Right, we had a £300 billion deficit with the EU. If they don't want to deal with us, then don't deal with us. They'll be the losers, not us.
No, that whole argument that they need us more than we need them sort of flies in the face of maths. Do you believe in maths?
Economy in the world. Sixth largest economy in the world.
Do you believe in maths, Terry?
The sixth largest economy in the world.
And how is that helping you, the sixth largest economy in the world? Are you feeling the wealth?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I'm glad to hear it. We found one. Someone is in the money. He was a bit angry right out the gate, wasn't he? But I do believe that he is enjoying his Brexit. Don't let that angry tone lead you to believe that he is not enjoying his Brexit. York. Hello, Ashton.
Oh, good evening, Nick. How are you?
I am good, thanks.
My problem is with the straws. I think, well, it's not to do with the straws, but I think good for Trump because, in all honesty, I don't think us humans are having that much of an effect on the climate to begin with.
Is that your considered opinion?
That is my opinion. Yeah, because I'm being stiffed with my company car at the moment. The tax has gone up on it. Sadly, I had a diesel, but that's not got a big effect on the whole impact of things. I think
is that your considered opinion?
Yes.
Right. So these things don't have much of an effect because why?
It's still cold in the morning every day. Whether it's
it hasn't been solved already. No, good point, Ashton. If at first you don't succeed, give up. Good idea. Southfields. Hello, Alexander.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to speak to you. First of all, I'll introduce myself. I'm half Ukrainian, half Russian. My dad is Ukrainian, my mother Russian. And I would like to point out it's a million family like this along the 1,000 miles border between Russia and Ukraine. Secondly, 2 days ago, former Ukrainian President Poroshenko revealed the fact that it was sent conscription letter 4 times for Zelensky to join army, and he avoided. When he campaigned to become president of Ukraine, he promised no one Ukrainian life can be, killed. And he broke his promises. He broke his promises at all. And,
he promised that no Ukrainian life would be lost.
Lost no one Ukrainian. And because it's a madness. It's a madness to continue to fight with Russia. It's absolute madness.
Right, so what would you hang on.
Yeah.
What would you recommend he do?
Yes, because means agreement. It was just 5% of Ukrainian territory.
Okay, all right. It's very difficult to understand when you're shouting. What do you recommend he do?
No, because it was his fault. Totally his fault.
Yeah, okay, all right. What do you recommend he do?
A lot of people hate him because.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'll ask one more time. What do you recommend he does?
7 days.
Okay, you're not listening to me. So I'll repay the compliment and not listen to you. Plus, I think you're driving. Put your hands on the wheel and get the phone out of your ear and keep your beady eyes on the road ahead. Here's a caller in Bromley called Chris. Chris.
Hi, Nick.
Yes, Chris.
Let me just take off speaker.
Take me off speaker. There you go.
Now, you are a very learned person in the news. I'm just wondering...
I'm not.
Where... You come across as one. Where do you go for your news?
Everywhere.
That you can trust?
Well, I think the way to get news that you can trust more than, sucking it up off a social media site is to just cross-reference. Go to a major news outlet, and then see if another one agrees, and then go to maybe a local newspaper in the area in which they're discussing, and so on.
Right. Well, I'm an eye reader, and I go to the Guardian and the Observer,
right,
which I thought were pretty. All the words in there, independent,
relatively trustworthy. Relatively trustworthy.
Well, yeah, you see, but who knows? Well, I don't know who owns them. Is it the Desmonds or?
Well, the Guardian is owned by the Scott Trust, which is supposed to order itself in order to continue to make the Guardian. And the Eye is it's not Lebedev, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It is, because he owns the Metro and yeah.
Right. Are you all right?
No, I'm fine, no.
Okay. So is that your question?
Basically, don't go anywhere near the internet or anything, just...
Well, all newspapers are on the internet, so that's probably a good idea, because it's better than waddling down to your post office and buying up all the newspapers there. Look at it online, I would.
So you've got to double check and whatever.
Double check, yeah.
Well, the good old days, you can pick up an old newspaper and just take it as read.
What?
Or
take it as
BBC
read.
BBC News at 10.
Yeah, you can still do that. You can still do all of the above.
But even now, but that's an institution in the UK. But you sit there thinking, is that really what's happening?
But you're only thinking that because you have seen online on a misinformation site, perhaps, that they are lying to you. Whereas previous to the existence of social media, there was nobody that was putting that thought in your head.
True. I'll give you that.
Thanks.
All right.
I'll
just bury my head in the sand.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do, Chris. Get yourself a bucket, fill it with sand, bury your head in it. That's good advice. Let's see now. Wimbledon. Hello, Alex. Alex?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Alex.
Yeah, hello.
Are you driving?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, yes.
It does sound like you're driving to me.
No.
Okay.
It's just noise around, yeah.
All right. Okay, great talking to you.
Yes, I would like to mention that war, it's not 3 years old in Ukraine, it's 11 years old. It started in 2014. And Vice President Vance was absolutely right. He said to Zelensky, you don't have manpower. And you ordered, just to catch people on the street like dogs. Right. And set them to tranches.
Yeah, it's I think it's called war.
If you go to Ukraine, it's a horror because of no man on the street, only woman walking. It's an 11 years old war.
Right.
Understand?
Yeah, I get it. Thanks for the lesson. And be careful on the roads. Keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road, and however that song goes. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. Sing!
Rock and roll!
Kensington. Hello, Francis.
Hello, yes. I mean, look, Zelensky is now cost us 2.6 billion. That's what we've just given him.
Hang on a minute. Is this 2 in a row on the Nicky Abbott show? I'm not having that. You wait to the very end of the programme, and then then these Putin fans all call at the same time, just so you can get your word in. No way. Get lost. Maidstone. Tony.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, Tony.
Yeah, I'm calling up about Mark Carney and this asteroid. However, look, I thought I needed a few days break in the week, so I'm very behind. But I've just been watching. Donald Trump try to get out of Tesla. You'd think it would have a handler, wouldn't you? Oh my goodness, that made me laugh out loud.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
He was with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He was in a Tesla and he was in the passenger seat.
Right.
And then he got out of the car, but it was just played on BBC News. and then he struggled to get out. It was
Well, the only time I've ever driven in a Tesla was being used as a cab, and I couldn't find my way in. There's no handles on those doors, Elon Musk. You idiot! People can't get in your cars.
Yeah, well, I don't know what a Tesla looks like, but I'm assuming it was him. But it was about 5 or 6 minutes ago, and I thought, oh no, this can't be happening. He was next to Elon Musk. He was in the passenger seat, and then you see Donald Trump trying to get out.
Yeah, fumbling at the door. Yeah, trying to find a handle.
Yeah, literally. No, but he struggled. Yeah. But they say, can I give you my Donald Trump impression?
No, unfortunately not. We have completely run out of time on that call. So sad when that happens. Let's have Manchester. David.
Are you okay, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks.
I'm not massively big on politics. I don't really... I try not to take too much notice of it. But it looks like England are aligning themselves more to Europe rather than America. Am I right in saying that?
Well, what do you mean by aligning?
Well, the more like, by the looks of it, I think he was kind of on the fence, Keir Starmer, but he seems to be, he's going to go with Europe rather than go and have good relationships with America. He's going to go with the rest of Europe, like Germany and France, and with them, and cut ties loose with America. Am I right in saying that? Or wrong,
no, you're wrong in saying that. Keir Starmer has repeatedly stated that choosing between Europe and America is a false choice, and he doesn't intend to do it. He wants good relations with America and Europe. He wants to love everybody.
All right, well, good luck with that. Anyway, I'm trying to find a way out of England because I'm fed up with it.
Right.
Everyone's depressed.
Yeah.
Everything costs too much. Mm-hmm. The government we've got in at the moment is wheeling around like a load of madmen with a load of power guns to their heads. Angela Rayner's from my neck of the woods. If I ever come across her, she's getting both barrels off me. She's gone down in my estimation. She has. She's meant to be from a working class background. She's showing nothing of the sort, in my opinion. This government who I voted for I cannot believe the behaviour of them. Certainly on the benefits thing with people. I think it's disgusting what they're doing there. So they're certainly not got off to a good start, in my opinion, like I thought they would. I think they're alienating a lot of their own people. It's a party that I was brought up on that's meant to represent the destitute of society and the working class. And at the moment, that doesn't seem like that's the case to me at the moment.
Well, it's the working people that they were supposed to represent. Yeah, destitute is supposed to be represented by everybody. I mean, you help the least fortunate among us.
Well, that's a load of rubbish.
Are you saying that it's a load of... Hang on a minute. Are you saying that the concept of helping the least fortunate is a load of rubbish, or that the Labour... Right. Well,
Yeah.
I can't agree with you with that.
Well, yeah, because you're telling me people... All right, so someone who lives in Kensington, like a Piers Morgan, say, you're telling me he's helping out someone who's on the streets begging for change? Or I can give you a bit of money for an hotel tonight, and probably just walk past me, get in his black cab and go wherever he's going. That's all the rubbish, that. Anyway,
I don't really understand where you've just gone, David, but you want to leave the country? Well, we'll have a whip round, and I'll see you at the border. Thanks a lot, mate. I'm confused. And I've been confused ever since this programme started 2.25 hours ago. So I suppose it's not such a stretch that you added to my confusion. I don't quite get where you were coming from. But I know where you're going. Away. Tooting. Hello, Jack. Jack?
Yep, that's me.
Ah, just in time. Yes, Jack.
Just thinking about Trump, do you think he deserves any credit for doing things in his own way and changing the shift in US relations to what he sees fit? He clearly doesn't care about Europe, which I don't think is a good thing, and especially betraying Ukraine. But he seems to be shifting in the direction that he wants to go in.
Which is?
Towards Asia and China, which is what he sees as a threat. I don't think he cares about Europe and doesn't see any threats there, clearly.
Well, he doesn't seem to care much about China. In fact, he seems to be. Care about China. He seems to be. There seems to be animosity towards China from him.
No, other way around. So he yeah. So sorry, no, you are right. The animosity towards China.
Yes.
So he's shifting his focus there away from Europe, kind of abandoning this side of things, and he's managed to realign the traditional American foreign policy in that direction.
In what direction?
Towards focusing on Asia and China rather than Europe.
But focusing, what do you mean, focusing on? If he's against China?
Well, if he's withdrawing support for Europe, what's he doing with that? It's going towards other areas, presumably.
Presumably?
Well, he can't go nowhere.
Well, it could go into his pocket.
What, military aid? I guess, yeah, through contracts.
Is there anything further?
Not particularly.
No, okay. Good call, Jack. Thanks for that. Westminster. Hello, Steve.
Hello. Good evening. I enjoy your call, but I thought I'd better alert you to the fact that in attempting to help me understand what 2 centimetres of snow was,
yes,
you misapplied the rule for converting centigrade to Fahrenheit.
Yeah, centimetres
which
to
had
feet.
Absolutely nothing to do with the problem.
I don't know where you get your information, Steve, but centimetres to feet is double it and add 32.
No, it isn't. If you use double it, you have to take off 10%.
No.
Yes.
I refuse to
Because
reduce the amount by 10%.
The correct formula is multiply by 9, divide by 5, add 32.
To get from centimetres to feet? Don't be ridiculous.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're mathematically challenged, but the point about it is...
I'm sorry that you're embarrassing yourself on national radio, Stephen.
Well, can I explain to you that the other area which you've made a mistake is that 2 centimetres...
Yes.
is approximately 8 inches.
6 feet.
Is approximately 8 inches.
2 centimetres is 8 inches. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. And you get there by dividing 200 millimetres by 25.
Right. Well, that makes as much sense as anything else I've heard on this show so far.
Well, I just thought you might find it helpful. I mean,
think again, Steve.
To keep me in understanding what it is you're saying, using this modern method of meters and millimeters, which was based on a French system,
French,
which was introduced by the common market, and finally the EU.
Right. Well, I want you to listen to this show. I want you to listen to this show with pen poised, ready to take notes, because otherwise you might miss something important, Steve. That shut you up, didn't it? Only for a brief moment.
I prefer to listen with my mind.
Right, or your ears might be a better idea. Process it with your mind and listen with your ears. That's my plan. Maidstone. Hello, Tony.
Oh, hello.
Tony.
Oh, there's something wrong with the phones today because I'm with Vodafone, but my phone, sometimes I cut out, and then when I was waiting, I couldn't hear anything for a bit longer. But anyway, I digress. Nick, how are you?
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat in anticipation,
yeah.
Yes.
I want to talk about Trump Donald.
Yes.
I did it the other way round because I don't think he deserves to be called Donald. Yeah, your glamorous assistant, he's quite nice. I've spoken to him a few times. He's quite very helpful.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. I believe in customer service, as you know. Anyway, I digress again. Yes, so I want to talk about Donald Trump. I think he wants war. What's your opinion?
With?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
No.
Okay. Yeah, no, the thing is, right, the thing is, right, James O'Brien mentioned you in the week.
It's a lie. I was never there.
Where?
There on the stair. Right there. What did he say?
No, the thing is, I'm a serious person. You're going to make me howl.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop. No, this is a serious subject. So let's talk about Trump Donald. Oh, you've just put me off my track now. Yes.
I tell you what, Tony. I'll tell you what, Tony.
No, please.
I'll put you on hold, and you can collect your thought. All right.
Oh, don't. I wanted to talk about that. I'm happy to wait after the break.
You're definitely not coming back after the break.
What time? It's 22, 28.
Yeah, you got 1 minute, 20 seconds. Go.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So, you've always been talking about, because James O'Brien mentioned you in the week. He's a fan of you, by the way. So he was saying... Oh, I can't remember. You just took me off my track. Yeah, he was saying...
Yes, your performance on this show is my fault, I understand.
No, it's not your fault, of course. You're the best. He's the only person I can't get through to, James O'Brien. But anyway, I spoke to Sheila. She likes you as well. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And sadly, Tony, we're fresh out of time. Isn't that unfortunate? So sad when that happens. Thanks for the call, though, Tony, and filling us in on, whatever it was that you just said. I hope you're writing that stuff down, kids, because some of that was very, very important. Let's have Woking. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Nick.
Jeff.
Nick, I've been holding on since last Friday. I wasn't going to be fobbed off.
Hanging on the telephone like Blondie.
Rock and roll! I have. I wasn't going to be fobbed off. Now, your colleague just said to me he'd never trust an electrician without any eyebrows.
I didn't hear a word of that. What?
He said he doesn't trust an electrician without any eyebrows.
Right. Is this a stand-up routine?
No, Portugal.
What?
They don't change their time in the year.
Who do?
Portugal. No, they don't change their time.
Go on.
No, they don't. It's the same. They don't change their clocks.
Oh, I definitely thought that was a setup for a joke.
No.
Well, now I'm disappointed.
I'm here all week. Nick, I've got a choice for you.
Yeah, you'll be here. If you're here in 30 seconds, you'll be lucky. Go ahead.
Anyway, you can either have an agreement between Russia and Ukraine or the Beatles remasters.
Right, well, let me ponder that a while. Thanks a lot, Jeff, for whatever that was. Crouch End, hello, Grace.
Oh, hello, yes. I just wanted to say that regarding Trump, I don't really think it's such a surprise. I think he's a very extreme version of what was always there. And in some ways it's quite refreshing that it's out in the open.
It?
Well, the American foreign policy, number one.
You think American foreign policy has traditionally been about helping Vladimir Putin?
No, American foreign policy has been about invading as many countries as you can. Latin America is just a littered casualty of all the invasions. Regarding his rhetoric about he's kept Europe safe, actually the Iraq war destabilised the whole of the Middle East, and Germany and Turkey and Greece, these countries that have had to take millions of refugees, did not have anything to do with it. And I don't hear anyone challenging Trump on that. So I don't really think...
What's that got to do with Trump, though?
Well, I'm talking about what he says, the way he portrays the role of America as being this great custodian, this country that we've looked after everybody else. I think when you really go into it, it isn't like that. I actually think that Europe would be much better off getting out of NATO, because I actually think Russia is demonized constantly, all the time, for decades. There's nothing good about it, nothing. They are the enemy.
Well, I'm sure that they make nice trinkets, and the caviar is probably nice if you enjoy that sort of thing. Vodka is a good thing that comes from Russia. But you're saying that Vladimir Putin has been misunderstood?
I don't really have an opinion. The media
But you do have an opinion. You called in to give it to me. You appear to be chock full of opinions. Is one of your opinions...
Oh, no, you're saying about Putin.
Yeah, but you said that Russia is misunderstood. Putin is Russia.
What I'm saying is that if you look at the way... If you look at the history... Russia won the Second World War. We can't stand that. but they did. We came in much later, so did America. We cannot give them credit for that. That, for me, is appalling.
We cannot give Russia credit for winning the Second World War.
No, well, we don't.
What sort of credit?
They're never invited to any commemoration or... even when Auschwitz, the ceremony at Auschwitz, they liberated Auschwitz, but they weren't invited.
Yeah, okay. This is so weird, Grace. It's almost like I'm living a parallel life right now. It's like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Where is this call going? I mean, what is the upshot of what it is that you're trying to say?
I'm actually trying to say that I think America, we need to get away from...
All right, okay. Well, I agree. I agree with that. We need to get away from America. We can't rely on America anymore because they've shown themselves to be unreliable. But if you're saying that we should cozy up to Russia, and they haven't been given enough credit for winning the Second World War, well, I don't know what planet you're living on. Well, Crouch End. Richmond, hello, Fred.
I don't know which one to answer, like cows or the climate change. Which one do you want?
I want cows.
Cows, okay. Cows are not stupid. Cows are evolved by human beings. Yeah. It's the humans who caused them to be the way they are. Evolution. But not natural evolution.
I don't know. I mean, we're not stopping them evolving, though, are we? I mean, they could be evolving in their minds, being quiet. I mean, they could be saying moo, but they could be thinking, insurrection.
You're wrong.
Huh?
You're wrong, because the moment a cow raises his head and says, hang on a minute, I don't agree with this.
Yes.
Off it goes.
Right.
To
Right.
the butcher.
Yeah, I suppose so. Mm.
No, we're definitely controlling them.
Okay. We're controlling...
What about the climate change?
We're
I don't
controlling
think climate change
cows.
is actually racist.
You don't think it's racist, okay?
No, because if you put a white person or a black person in the middle of the desert, or at the top in the poles where it's very cold,
yes,
where the climate change affects people, it will affect them in exactly the same way.
Yes.
It can't be racist.
Well, yeah, but people don't live in the scenario that you just described.
I agree. But the point is, it just shows that climate is not racist. Climate is climate.
No, you've showed nothing of the sort, Fred. And if you thought about it for just a second, you'd realise how silly a thing it is you're just saying. I'd stick to cows. Yes, here's a person in Sutton that it is so nice to meet called Will. Will.
All right there, Nick. I just thought I'd let you know I'm calling you from my Bluetooth Wi-Fi tracker on Greenland. I'm actually mowing the grass.
Okay, great talking to you, Will. Edinburgh. Hello, David.
Hi, hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm great, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I don't think... I think the Americans, they don't want to go to war anymore. People don't want to... I mean, this coalition right up, and I think Australia wants to go... It's going to be a world war, and it could end up a nuclear war. It really could. I'm frightened, you know.
You're frightened.
I
think it'll be okay. I don't think it'll be okay in Edinburgh. Nobody's going to bomb Edinburgh.
Yeah, well, it could bomb Edinburgh. You know, it's a very popular place like London, and I wouldn't like to end up with a war in this country. And it seems to be that nobody wants to talk. And Zelensky, he's a bit of a flyboy as far as I'm concerned.
What does that mean?
To help. That means he wants everybody to go to war and help him. There could have been a deal on the table. And don't forget...
A deal?
You're missing one...
What kind of a deal?
Well, listen to me. You're missing one thing. Putin didn't want to go to war.
Who did?
That's because Putin didn't really want to invade Ukraine. Ukraine wanted to join NATO, and that's what caused it.
Yeah, no, that's not what caused it.
No, but that did cause it.
No, but the thing is, David, it didn't. That's not what happened. And you're telling me America. You are telling me America doesn't want to go to war. Well, so far, Donald Trump has threatened Panama, Norway, Mexico, Canada. I may be missing a few places, but he seems to have his handful with war at the moment.
Yeah, who does?
The guy who's running America at the moment?
No, I don't think Trump is the bad man you think he is. He just doesn't want to pay the tax.
Misunderstood.
No,
I get it.
See, Nick, I like you, but you're a raving lefty, and you'll never get through to a lefty. You've got a mindset, and that's it. You understand?
As opposed to you mean?
Well, opposed to me, well, you know...
You're open-minded. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I guess we could just shout over each other for the next 2.5 hours. Or not. I could wish you all the best and hope you have a happy life. But I think that boat's probably sailed. Thanks a lot, David. There's a guy who hasn't had a conversation with anybody in a good long while. Just staring at a computer screen, getting all of his thoughts made for him by some Russian propaganda website. Walthamstow. Joe.
Hello, darling.
Yes, Joe.
How are you?
I'm great, mate. How are you? Sounds like you're dying over there.
What about a cold? I've had it for 10 months.
You've had a cold for 10 months?
Yeah, bad cough and cold for 10 months.
Have you consulted a medical professional?
I've been to the doctor. They keep shrugging me off, Nick.
They keep shrugging you off?
Yeah, shrugging me off. Yeah, not wanting to know.
But you've had a cold and a cough for 10 months?
I went to the hospital the weekend. They gave me antibiotics and some other medicine. We take 6 in the morning and the antibiotics 3 times a day.
Yeah. And are you doing that? No.
Yeah, I'm doing it, Nick. Yeah.
Right. Is it working?
Not really, Nick.
Not really. No.
Getting worse.
Worse?
Yeah, it's getting worse, Nick. Yeah.
Well, I would consult a trained professional if I were you, Joe.
Yeah, I'd have to, Nick. Yeah. So, Nick, about Trump.
Yes.
He's so controlling, isn't he,
Nick? He's such a Charlie.
He's so controlling.
Yes.
He wants to control Canada, he wants to control UK, he wants to control Putin.
I understood some of that.
He wants to take over the whole world. This is a maniac.
Yes, I would.
I don't like him.
I second that emotion, Joe, if not necessarily the way in which you put it.
Yeah, Nick, he's just so controlling. He just wants to take over everything.
Yeah. Well,
these tariffs he's putting up on his cars, Nick, wow, ridiculous. Can't order certain cars from him.
Right. Is this the pills talking?
He's hilarious.
Joe, promise me you're going to get some professional medical advice. And I wish you all the best. Virginia, Paul.
Nick, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I've been spoken to you for years.
Now, Virginia is a Trump state, right?
Yes, it is.
Right.
I've been out here about 4 years now. But I wanted to... There was something that I wanted to throw in the air and just give me your take on this. I was thinking that with the way times are now, very uncertain, countries looking at being invaded, would you not think that Britain should bring back a legislation that allows people to be able to bear arms just for self-protection of land, property and themselves, for just in case?
Bear arms, as in own guns?
Legalised firearms, yeah.
Yeah, well, let me think about that for a minute.
No.
Absolutely. Why? Because, okay, it doesn't work like it does in the films. If somebody breaks into your property, you don't leap over the bed into the nightstand and pull out your trusty Colt 45 and you shoot them straight in the eyes. What would be more likely to happen is that you leap over your bed, you don't quite make it, you fall into the gap between the bed and the wall, the table falls onto you, the criminal picks the gun up out of the mess and shoots you. That'd be more likely what's happening.
Here's my question for you, Nick. So this is what I wanted to ask you. So, as you know, we're having issues with military right now.
Are you?
Right. Numbers.
Are you talking about us in this country or you in Virginia?
I'm in Virginia, but I'm talking about the UK.
Okay.
Right. I have been saying this for a while. We are having issues with military right now.
We don't have enough of them. Is that what you mean?
No, we don't.
Right.
So my take is this. The reason why I mention the legislation is because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, most countries would think twice about an invasion if you know you're pretty heavily armed.
No, they wouldn't.
You don't think so?
No, because we would, but us doughy Brits would have absolutely no experience of firing guns for a start. Even if the government delivered one to each and every one of us through the post, we wouldn't have any experience of it. We wouldn't know what we were doing, and we'd be petrified in the circumstance in which we might use it, which was not going to improve our aim any. And an invading force would be, by definition, a professional army who are used to shooting and killing people. So no, we wouldn't stand a chance. You might as well give us pea shooters or a spud gun.
So what do you suggest as protection?
Being nice. I mean, no one's going to invade Norway, are they?
Well, that's what they say. Yeah. So, I mean, as you know, there's a lot of surprises at the moment.
That's right.
Like I said, I when I had mentioned that the last time I was on LBC and I was in London, I had said to one of your gentlemen before you came on that there was likely to be an invasion, and he totally said it's not going to happen. And it happened. So I always think, I'm always sort of believing that sometimes I think people should have a right to be able to have some because you can't rely on people coming to save you, just like what's happening in Ukraine now, where they're under martial law and people are getting bombed, cities are being taken over. The people in the cities do not have any form of defence because they wasn't issued any firearms. So naturally, they just become a victim without no form of self-protection. So that's why I thought I'd throw that in the air, because me being ex-military, that's the way I would think. I would want to be able to make sure that if all hits the fan and there's no one coming to look after me, I can look after myself.
Right. That you wouldn't reach for your holster and find it empty. No, right.
And that is one of the reasons why America actually had their Second Amendment anyway, because when the UK originally tried to take it, that was the reason why the Second Amendment came about, so strong.
But the Second Amendment has absolutely no relation to where we are today, because the weaponry is completely different, as is the the circumstance. But I understand what you're saying, and get out of Virginia maybe would be a good idea. It is beginning to infiltrate your mind, Paul. But I wish you all the best. Shoot straight. Try not to blow your own foot off. Battersea, hello, Lisa.
Lisa from where? Which area are we talking about?
Well, which area are you in, Lisa?
What's the area that I'm under? Because you normally read out the area and the name.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised. I've got hold of you. Hello, Nick. How are you?
Are you Lisa from Battersea?
Yes.
Oh, well, then I don't want to speak to you.
Do you know what the subject I want to talk to you about today is between the William, Kate, Meghan, Harry, and we could throw in Donald Trump as a mix as well if you want. I don't know if you're okay with that. So my feeling, this is my take on it. I feel, because I listen to you quite a lot, and I've always liked you as a presenter, but there are things that I don't agree with you on, obviously. I do feel you're a bit not fair on the Kate Middleton and William, and I feel you're too much fond of the Harry and Meghan, and I can't understand...
I'm not fond of them. I just like the way they upset the right people.
Like, who is the right people they upset?
The right-wing press, who have a cow on a daily basis about anything that Meghan Markle may or may not have done. They are absolutely obsessed with her. I mean, I could sit here and read out all the headlines about Meghan Markle that are in Mail Online right now, and it would take for the rest of this show.
It would take longer than that, Nick.
True.
Yeah.
It's an obsession, and it's unhealthy. But I think that she upsets all of the right people, so I'm on her side. Plus, if she had been treated the way that, if you'd been treated, Lisa, the way that she had by that malfunctioning family, you'd want to leave the country too.
But do you not feel, on being fair on it, do you not feel that the royal family was fair to her? Because I do feel the Queen... In which way? Because I felt the Queen...
Well, the Queen... we got no idea about the Queen because she never really said anything. So, and that's why people love her, is because she was always there, this vision of pastoral loveliness, and she never really said anything. The only thing that anybody remembers that she said was annus horribilis, and that's because the Queen said annus, which made us giggle. That's the only thing that anybody can remember her saying. But everybody thought positively about her. Wilson, I don't know. I mean, just smiling and waving, and he, with thousands of rooms at his disposal and land for as far as the eye can see, he wants to do his best to cure homelessness. Well, just open up one of your palaces, mate. Problem solved.
Well, I do agree with you on partly of what you're saying. I do agree they should give up some land or something for the homeless. I agree with you 100% on that. But the point, we could say the same with like the other suffixes. We could say, look, there's problems going on in the world. Why are they not opening up part of? Why is Meghan not doing marches for people of colour? Why is she not but why is she not going through that, Nick? Why is Harry and Meghan saying about people, they was asking us about not using carbon footprint, and then they were doing it themselves. Do you not feel there's a bit of like contradiction and hypocrisy going on there?
Well, if you start looking for hypocrisy, Lisa, you'll find it everywhere you look. And unfortunately, at this moment, I have to run away in order to come back again. Sorry about that. Bridgend, hello, Bo.
Hiya, Nick. Nick, you're down in Wales tonight more than our shadow Tory minister, someone called Mims Davis, who's from a constituent I've never heard of.
Oh, yeah? You've never heard of the constituent? Really?
Do you know where she's from? Well,
no.
Can you tell me that?
I couldn't even pronounce it, and I know I couldn't spell it.
Right. Trudeau, I mean, the guy who everyone would, I think my sister, my wife would marry him, but...
Yes.
Right, Mark Carney, different proposition.
Yes.
Different proposition. So we got a blonde peroxide muppet against an intelligent man. Can you guess the winner?
The blonde peroxide muppet.
Yeah. Do you want some information, inside information?
Yes, I do.
Margaret Thatcher's looking down. So I'm in the man cave with my picture of Margaret. Right.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Back up. Describe the picture of Margaret Thatcher that you have on your wall in your man cave. What's she wearing?
A blue trouser suit. I can't see the bottom half. Probably wise. She's higher up than me, and
some sort of jacket with big shoulders.
Oh, it's a blue. Well, obviously it's the royal blue. Very smart. Very smart.
Is her hair sort of the same shape as a motorcycle helmet?
It is, yeah. It is. It looks like as a child, they used to put a bowl on her head in the hairdressers and cut around it.
It looks like
with a lot of hair lacquer.
It looks like somebody's forgotten to take off the bowl.
With a lot of hair lacquer. Yeah. Do you want? Can I get back to my inside information?
Oh, I've forgotten about that. Yes.
Right. My Canadian friend has said Trudeau. Trudeau, not Trudeau. He's gone. Carney has been meeting with the American farming union, the Canadian farming unions a lot on the quiet. To me, this can only be. It's the tariff thing. Canada supplies a lot of the fertilizers to America, and Carney, if Trump plays these blinking tariff games, Carney is going to hit the fertilizers and then watch the American farmers kick off, because Trudeau's will play hardball with Donald Trump, definitely.
Carney, not Trudeau.
Yeah.
Trudeau's
Mark Carney. Yeah. Sorry, Mark Carney will play.
Yeah, Trudeau is the one that your wife wants to marry. Mark Carney, not so much.
Or you would want your sister to marry, but totally totally not the man to go up against Trump.
No. Trudeau looks like he would be pointing into the distance and smiling at something off the page in a Grattan catalogue photo shoot. Mark Carney, on the other hand, doesn't.
No, but it's significant. He's meeting with the farming unions on the quiet because when Donald plays his trumps, and I didn't realise how much America relies on Canadian fertilisers and farming potash. Potash is one.
Potash, right? Do you want to score some potash?
Want to score some
I don't know.
Ash.
What goes into America most, the pot or the ash?
Well, I don't think they get the pot from Canada. I think that has to come from that's probably from the other border. Yeah, comes over the other border. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Bo. Let us know if there's any developments with that whole Margaret Thatcher picture issue. He's got a man cave with a picture of a Margaret Thatcher on it. You know, in order to make the beer go down more easily. Battersea. Hello, Caroline. Caroline? Caroline will be with us in about 5 seconds when she realises that there's a delay and she's listening to the radio, and she'll hear her name in just a moment and rush across the kitchen table and pick up... there you are.
I just want to say I had a good day today. 3 good things happened. The weather was nice. Mm-hmm. I got my internet phone.
Oh.
And I spoke to my son. But it's right, you know, about the internet. Like because I had a little phone, so I had to use my brain, do you know what I mean? Spell everything out.
Yeah.
And do everything. So, like, in the winter, I think a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people just get a little depressed because they're indoors and they're not going out.
Right.
And walking and occupying their minds or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the summer, it's always brighter, don't you think?
There is a certain lightness to your step in the summertime.
And do you know what else, like what you said? I think people in prison are like guinea pigs. I think they test all the medication out on them first, don't you?
That never occurred to me, actually, Caroline. But I'm going to look into that very strongly. Thanks for that. I suspect that was the purpose of the call and not the isn't it nice outside part. Let's have York. Hello, Charlie. Charlie?
Mr. Abbott.
There you are.
It's Charlie from York.
Yes, Charlie.
I'm enjoying your tongue-in-cheek program.
Thanks.
Now, you've got a convicted felon as leader of the free world.
Yeah.
This is what we've been reduced to in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, I do have to agree with a lot of his policies.
Like,
you know, looking after America's interests.
In what way is he doing? In what way is he doing that? That's just the thing that he says.
If you allow me to explain, if you're going to slap tariffs on my country, I'm going to slap tariffs on your country.
Yeah, but what tariffs is he talking about? He thinks that
steel,
he thinks
aluminium.
that he thinks that VAT is a tariff that we are being very mean as to put on the goods that America sends here.
Sorry, could you repeat that, Nick?
No.
I misheard you.
Yeah, he thinks VAT, our VAT, is a tariff on his goods.
VAT?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, the thing is, how come corporations get exemptions for VAT?
Corporations?
Yes.
Which corporations?
Like limited corporations in this country. If you incorporate a company...
Selling what, though?
And your revenue is above
product?
certain...
What product?
Sorry, if you let me finish...
What product do they sell that is...
Finish,
no, well, you're on the wrong track. What product do they sell that is VAT-free, that is not food?
Well, I'm not going to go into the nuances of what are goods that are VAT...
Oh, well, I'm sorry here, Charlie, but we're only interested in nuances on this show. I'm not going to get trolled on my own programme. No, that's what Twitter's for. I'll see you on that. Enfield, Demetrius.
Unbelievable. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm through. First time caller, Nick.
Good man.
Hi there. right, I didn't think I was going to go on. Right, so three things, right? Firstly, Wimpy, fantastic. We've got loads of them in North London. The best one was in... Yep, there is a few. There's one in Loughton. There's one in Lakeside.
Now, are they like they used to be, or is it just like a walk-in and then you get your stuff and you walk out? Is it just takeaway, or is it...
No, it's a restaurant, Nick, and they've had refurbs as well.
And do they have waiter or waitress service?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, and
Right.
there's one in Cheshunt as well that I visit regularly.
And do they still have a bender on the menu?
They certainly do. I'm
Wow.
straight, but they do have vendors. You don't like me saying? And I can get an egg with my burger.
Huh.
Which I love.
Well, I think a burger does benefit from an egg.
I love it.
I mean,
I love an egg
that
on
is
my burger.
essentially it's what they call a club sandwich, isn't it? Because a club sandwich, the
love
magic
it.
ingredient in a club sandwich is the egg part. That is just a fact.
Totally agree. That's something we agree. And next thing I want to say, Nick, I love Trump.
You love him?
Yeah, not in that way.
Right.
I love everything he comes at. He gets things done.
What does he get done?
Everything he says he's going to do. Whether he gets it done, he gets things done. And he's orange. And I like orange, the colour orange.
Yeah.
Well,
like Wimp is, I associate orange with the 1970s. So if only he'd stayed there.
I mean, listen, what about the previous guy who they had? He couldn't get off the stage.
Hang
You
on
know
a minute. Are you whatabouting me?
Yeah, what about?
Okay, that sounds like a moment to say goodbye. I don't do whatabouts. Istanbul. Bernard.
Yeah, good evening, Nick. I'm not sure what time you've got there, but it's here pretty late.
Yes, pretty late here too.
Okay, and now let me get to the point that I want to make is the country I'm in at the moment. The leader of this country is one of the few international politicians who's actually proposing a redivision of the powers of the Security Council. They call it Beshtani Fazla, which means there are more than 5. And one of the reasons that the world isn't being represented the way it should be is because the effort that people put into winning the war against the fascists, people seem to think that Britain won the war or America won the war. It was Russia that lost more than 20 million people in fighting that war.
Yeah, I thought it was more than that. But anyway, let's not fall out over a couple of tens of millions of people.
The point of the matter is that since Churchill's,
what
do you call it? The thing that brought down the barrier across Europe.
Yeah.
And that what was our friend is now our enemy.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. That.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the balance of the world should be more represented in the organization of the United Nations. At the moment, the 5 Security Council members represent something like 2.25 billion people. Well, there are 8 billion people on Earth, which is simply not even being represented at all.
Right, but so in what way are you and the people of your country being... Wait a minute, hang on a minute. In what way are you being harmed by not being a permanent member of the Security Council?
In what way you're not being harmed?
No, in what way are you being harmed? Is Turkey being harmed by not being a member?
I'm not talking about Turkey. Turkey is where I'm calling from, but I'm not representing Turkey in any way whatsoever.
I thought you were. At the beginning of this conversation, you were talking about Turkey, and then you went on to say that they want to increase the number of permanent members of the UN. That's what you said.
I said that there is an objection has been made to the structure which was created in 1945,
right,
which represented the balance of power at that time.
Okay.
And you've been talking the last 10 minutes about China.
Yeah. I haven't, but go on.
The time lag is extremely difficult, and yeah.
What year are you calling from? All right, well, leave it with me, Bernard, and I'll look into that very strongly. I have no idea. Glasgow. Hello, Leslie.
Hello.
Yes, Leslie.
Hi. I would just like to make a point and ask a question, if I'm allowed. First, I think our country's in a mess, man. I mean, and our government and media appeals to me to make more of a fuss about what's happening in Ukraine than our own country.
Hardly.
I mean, we've given Ukraine around 15 billion, while our own pensioners have a winter fuel allowance cut. We wait 20 to 30 hours in hospitals and weeks for a GP. And I'm hearing all this about Ukraine, and it's like, I really don't care about Zelensky, to be honest. I'm getting to the point. I just wish we would make a peace deal just to end it so we can invest in our own countries. That's the way I feel. It's a mess in Europe. Whether you're in France, Germany, Britain, it's a disgrace.
Everywhere needs some work, you're right, but it's possible that the sixth richest country in the world and all of their equally rich local friends could do both. They could fix their country and help out somebody on the European continent who's in trouble, can't we?
Well, I would say that if we're so tightly strapped for money that in the same week the winter fuel allowance was cut for our pensioners, the government gave $4 billion to Ukraine. If you can afford to invest $4 billion in Ukraine, then you can make the choice to keep benefits going to the most vulnerable in our society.
Yeah,
but can I ask you a question?
No, I'm not disagreeing. You think you came on itching for a fight. I'm not disagreeing with
I
you.
would actually like to ask you a question. That was just my point.
It's not a quiz show, but you can ask.
Right, so put Trump's attempt at a peace deal aside, whether you like it or not. I get a feeling you're not a fan of Trump, so put that aside. I would like you to make an argument that doesn't involve hypotheticals, why we should give Ukraine billions over our own NHS and vulnerable population if we can only do one.
But we can't only do one.
But maybe we can, because our NHS and our most vulnerable.
You just told me not to use hypotheticals, and yet your question is based on a hypothetical.
But your response is a hypothetical, because you're saying that we can do both.
I'm telling you we can.
What?
I'm telling you we can.
Explain how we can.
Any government can either print money or they can borrow money. We can borrow money. We certainly have the headroom to borrow more money. Now,
and what happens if we borrow more money? What happens to our currency?
Well, what's happened to our currency with the money that we borrowed already? Not much. We're doing just fine.
We're not doing just fine?
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Well, the currency is doing just fine. We, as a society, need work. Yes, no doubt.
The inflation in our economy is not good at all. Our energy inflation is terrible. Food inflation is terrible.
That's different. Energy is different to ordinary inflation, underlying inflation.
Well, energy is the biggest driver to overall inflation across the board.
Well, I would agree with that too. But the point about the inflation with energy is down to, I would suggest, energy giants raking it in, using the opportunity of disruption in the supply to make more money than they've ever made before. Now, if that's true, and you accept that that is true, that energy giants are coining in more profits than they have ever done, then that suggests to me that we are being ripped off.
Well, I would assert that we have a finite amount of resources available, and to allocate that finite amount of resources at a country thousands of miles away is a mistake. We should be investing it here because we need it here.
Right, Now, let me ask you this. If you buy a house or a flat, what's the first thing you do? Do you fill the larder with food, or do you take out insurance in case it burns to the ground and you're left with nothing?
Well, the first thing I would do is make sure I was able to afford the flat, whether I was able to afford the mortgage or able to afford the rent.
We can afford the flat. Now, which do you buy first? Do you buy a nice jumper for yourself, or do you buy insurance to make sure that you don't lose everything?
Okay, I understand this metaphor, but we've never been invaded by Russia in our existence. But the 1,000 years of the existence of the United Kingdom, we have never been invaded.
In the history of America, they've never sided with Russia over Europe.
So. Wait a minute. In the First and Second World War, the United States and Russia were our allies over Ukraine. The Ukrainians fought against us in World War II. Did you forget that? You didn't know that part, did you? The Galician SS, Western Ukraine, fought against the British. I know that because my grandfather was involved in taking Ukrainian prisoners of war to Lockerbie in Scotland.
Okay, that's great. But what has that got to do with us now?
Because I think that it's a huge mistake when you have people waiting 20 to 30 hours in hospital corridors for a bed.
Yes.
But we are investing in that as opposed to trying to make peace. I think our politicians don't want peace. That's what I'm worried about. They don't seem to want a peace deal in Europe.
They don't want a peace deal, which is for Ukraine giving in to a country that has invaded it.
Well, what do you mean Ukraine giving in? What does that mean to you? Explain that to me.
Well, that would be accepting Donald Trump's so-called deal.
No, forget about Donald Trump. Put Donald Trump aside, because you just said Donald Trump doesn't have a deal before you answered the phone to me. What does giving in to you mean?
No, I think Donald Trump does have a deal.
No, you just said Donald Trump, he doesn't have a deal.
No,
you said that 10 months ago.
He doesn't have a deal in mind other than availing himself of all of the riches that he can with the rare minerals and everything else that Ukraine has that he has his eye on.
The rare earth mineral deal isn't...
That's the deal that he wants, just money.
But the rare earth mineral deal isn't the same thing as a negotiated peace deal that he's trying to achieve with Russia and Ukraine separately, because Zelensky can't sit down and negotiate with Putin because Zelensky passed a decree that made it illegal for Ukrainians to negotiate directly with Russia. So Zelensky shot himself in the foot by doing that last year. So someone must act as an intermediary.
But Zelensky's already said that he will give up power if it meant peace.
No, he said he would give up power for NATO membership.
No, he didn't. He said he would stand down if it meant peace.
He said NATO membership. Watch your full clip. And Ukraine cannot get NATO membership.
Why not?
Well, that's the reason the war started, man.
No, that's not the reason the war started. Oh God, are you really a Putin apologist? Is this what it's come all the way around to?
I'm a guy in Scotland that follows this.
Well, everything that you're saying sounds like you're a Putin apologist. Like, so now we're just seconds away from you saying that Ukraine invaded Russia. My point is that we can do both. Now, what the government has done thus far, and some of it I don't agree with and some of it I do. I mean, giving winter fuel allowance to millionaire pensioners, what sense does that make? So they made a sort of a blunt decision, or they used a blunt instrument to decide who is deserving or who needs the winter fuel allowance and who doesn't. And for those that don't, there is, there's help from the local councils, and there's presumably the winter fuel allowance would be available to them if they really needed it. And I think that people who have an animus towards the Labour Party have just been using that way too much. If you really want to complain about the state of pensioners in this country, then you'd probably be more profitably engaged in complaining about the level of the state pension. That's the reason that many people need this winter fuel allowance, which I'll remind you is only a couple of £100, and isn't that much to most people. But people have been going on and on and on about it in the same way that they've been going on and on about the farmers. Please, talking about millionaire landowners who refuse to pay half the amount of tax as the rest of us. But, it's been used as a stick to beat the Labour Party because the right-wing press have been levelling their guns at them ever since their side lost. It's painful. But I think we can do both. Of course we can. And securing a country in the continent that we live in is not throwing money away. And only a Putin apologist would say otherwise, I'd suggest. Anyway, it was excruciating talking to you, mate. Thanks.